All right, Mark, hello. It's so nice to be with you today.
Nice to be with you.
I really appreciate you being here. We're going to talk a little bit about your experience with ReminGel. It's a new product we've recently launched. But before we get into that, tell us a little bit about your practice.
Well, thanks, Tanya. Yeah, my name's Mark Geissberger. I practice in Northern California, just north of San Francisco. Have practiced for 35 years and enjoy dentistry. Every day I do that. In addition to practicing, I was a dental educator for 30 years at University Pacific, and I'm currently a speaker with Catapult Education. So I wear a lot of hats in dentistry.
You
One of my
do.
favorite hats, though, is being able to evaluate new products.
We are thrilled that you had that opportunity. You were one of the very first dentists to beta test ReminGel and PeriProtect trays. And we're super excited about this product. It's very novel. It was primarily designed for desensitization, and I'm always amazed at how many patients really struggle with sensitivity. But it's also been used for remineralizing um, teeth and strengthening enamel. In your practice, you primarily prescribe this for patients with high sensitivity. Tell us a little bit about, some of your patients and the results you've seen, please.
Yeah, so I was really intrigued by the idea that Perio Protect was going to branch out from just a perio treatment using the perio gel into desensitizing treatment. Because in my aging population that has retained most of their teeth or all of their teeth,
Right.
they do have bone loss and recession. And one of the problems they'll face as we all age is that root sensitivity. And it can become quite debilitating. You can be sensitive every time you drink something that isn't darn near at body temperature,
Right.
which is super unpleasant. So there was always this population that we would try different things and they never really worked. I mean, yeah, you can use Sensodyne and there's some efficacy there, but they say discontinue it, after 2 to 3 weeks.
Mm.
So I was always looking for kind of the silver bullet in desensitizing. To the doctors out there, you've all had patients who walk in and they need you to numb them up for a prophy because they're so sensitive. They can't even have their teeth scaled and those
That
type of
sounds
patients. And it really,
miserable.
yeah, it impacts your practice.
Yeah.
So when PeriProtect launched ReminGel, I was the first to jump on and say, I'd love to try this. If it works, great. And we were off and running using the perio trays. We had patients doing 15-minute treatment a day for a week, and we saw dramatic decrease in sensitivity. Some of the patients like, this is life-changing. I can now eat ice cream. I can take in cold air, do all these things that they couldn't do before. So we had a number of patients, two of which at their cleanings would have to have the water warmed. They
Mm-hmm.
couldn't use certain instruments in contact with their teeth. And honestly, they were kind of difficult to deal with. There were
That's
so
high
many
maintenance.
demands.
Right. Right.
Yeah, very high maintenance. And I said, hey, we've got this new product. Would you like to be in a beta test? And they both jumped on right out of the gate. And both of them saw their pain levels go from a reported 9, 10 down to a 3, down to a 1, in one case, a 0. And we're like, okay, this is profound.
Yes.
And that was with a really short period of treatment for 15 minutes a day. So I was thrilled to see this kind of response and really feel for those practices that deal with sensitivity. Um, this is going to be a game changer and different than perio because patients really don't necessarily know they have perio or believe they have perio. They may see some
Right.
recession, but when they have sensitivity, they're going to tell you, my teeth
Yes.
hurt all the time. So it's really neat. And, I think as time goes on, we'll have a protocol that says, hey, before your prophies, make sure to put those trays back in for 2 or 3 days in
That's
advance of your
right.
prophy in case
Right.
there's any issues coming up. So I think it's a really fascinating product.
Yeah, I was so pleased that you were able to test them in the perio trays because you get that deep delivery and you get that sustained contact time. And so we believe it's both the medication and the delivery that's working for these folks. And then, if it turns out that they have decided, okay, I'm going to take that bleeding seriously, they already have the trays. They can go back and use it for the
Right.
multi-purpose. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think it's a great product. We saw just excellent results. I mean, it was really mind blowing. I'm like, okay, this will work like everything else works, kind of, but that wasn't the case. It was pretty
Yeah.
profound,
And
and it
one
was
of your
neat to see.
patients, I believe it was your patient, she remained sensitive free for 6 months,
Yeah,
which is,
absolutely.
that's,
So,
yeah, pretty exciting.
and she's still sensitive free to this point. I've had a couple others that at about 6 months they start to feel little things,
Hmm.
but not
Yeah,
like before. And we say, well, great, just pop your trays back in, and it may not be a week of treatment; it may be one
yeah,
or 2 days.
right.
So
Yeah.
I think it's a very easy system to maintain that coverage of the sensitivity protection that
Yes.
so many other products just don't. They're so short lived, and this is just long lasting.
Well, thank you so much for sharing this. Thank you for trying it out, for testing something new, and for all your service these years to dentistry. I'm thrilled that we've had a chance to get to know you and through this experiment, get to know you better.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you so much, Tanya, and I look forward to working with you guys again.
Have a
Bye,
great night
everybody.
then.
All right, take care.
Thank you so much.